Playboi Carti's I Am Music is the 7th biggest debut of all time. Now, this is incredibly bizarre for this to be the case. After listening to the album a few times, there's pros and cons to it. There's positives and negatives to it. We're not going to even harp too much on the negatives at this point in time. We're going to try to keep it positive a little bit because he has the 7th biggest debut of all time. So some of the pluses I will say, as far as vibes and jamming, as far as what this is, as far as what this actually is, he did a good job. As far as what it is, as far as the box he put it in, he did a magnificent job, I must admit. But as far as what you would think it is not going to be what you think it is. It's not. I'm going to tell you right now. If you're a rap fan or if you're a hip-hop fan and you see this shit come up in the hip-hop category, which they're going to have it in, it's not really a hip-hop album, even though they're going to have it in hip-hop. Hell no, this is nowhere near a hip-hop album whatsoever. So don't listen to that thinking that, even though you may see it in the hip-hop category. It's just what they do to black people. They put all black artists and musicians in hip-hop. Whether that shit hip-hop or not, they put that shit in hip-hop. So they put his album in hip-hop, but it's not hip-hop. I'm going to tell you right now. The beats are pretty good. He did an okay job with the beats. It's still not that impressive to me, but it's okay. For, like I say, for what it is, it's pretty good for what it is. It's great mumble rap. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say that respectfully. Like, it's great trap rap, mumble rap. Yeah, it's great that. But as far as like, you thinking you're finna hear some bars and storytelling and somebody saying some heartfelt shit and some poetry and you hear some cinematic beats, like you hear some cohesiveness, you're not gonna get any of that. This isn't even technically an album, to be honest with you. This is more like a mixtape with a bunch of stuff just thrown together. It's okay. It's entertaining a little bit, I guess, because he has features all over the place. There's features hidden everywhere. He switches his voice, so you can't tell if the shit is a feature sometime or if he's doing a new character or whatever he calls it. But he switches his voice like every song, so you can't actually tell. He doesn't have a signature flow or signature voice. It sounds like he just copycats everything. It's like copycat. It's like if a copycat character made an album, that's what this is. The beats is copycat. His flows are copycat. Everything's copycat with a stamp of satanic shit in it. So it's basically a copycat, satanic person project. And it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's 7th biggest debut of all time. That's crazy. It must be just a lot of young kids just hitting that repeat button because the beats are there. If you're not really listening to what he's saying and you just bob your head to the beats, some of the beats are cool. Like I say, it's for me, I'm more of a New York, I'm more of a 90s rap, golden age hip hop guy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to sound like that guy, but I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, yeah, man. And I'm not saying you got to bore us to death either. And it just got to be so lyrical and boring and we don't know what you're saying in that aspect either. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it would be nice for people to take rapping more seriously, for sure. It would be nice for people to take creating an album in general more seriously, for sure. I feel like this could have he could have structured this in it's 30 songs. Could he have made this an actual album? I think it could have been possible if he really gave it a shot. He could have put some kind of cohesion in it. This is not an album. This is a mixtape. They're calling it an album because he just packaged it that way. But this is absolutely not an album. This is a 30-track mixtape, and it's just songs and shit all over the place. This is not what you would consider an album, what an album used to be. An album used to be it had a direction that it was going. It had, you know what I'm saying? It had messages and blah, blah, blah. And everything ain't have to be the deepest shit in the world. It was heartbreak. It was winning, losing. It was achieving, conquering. You know, it was so much learning. You know what I'm saying? Like educating, gambling, you know, whatever, smoking, drinking, partying. Yeah, all of that. An album was everything. An album was everything. You know what I'm saying? This shit here is not an album, bro. This shit is just a mixtape with a bunch of songs threw together and a bunch of beats slapped together and stuff. It's cool. It's fun. Like I said, if you're not really a fan of hip hop, most people aren't these days, you ain't gonna have a problem with this album. If you just want to turn something on and nod your head and hear some crazy ass beats, oh yeah, he did his job on that. If you hear a motherfucker playing different characters and screaming on the mic, and he go from screaming to whispering to, he do all kind of shit. He's all over the place on this motherfucking album. Like I say, he got features popping out everywhere. He's changing his voice every other song. So he keeps you on your seat. It's entertaining, but it's the seventh biggest debut of all time. And to me, it's not even an album. It's damn sure not hip hop. But, you know, like I said, I'm not trying to do all that right now. It's okay. It's cool. I would advise y'all listen to something else if you really want some substance. But if you want to just, like I say, nod your head and hear some slamming ass beats, it's okay. It's decent. Seventh is a stretch, but hey, the people have spoken. Cardi B's music, seventh biggest debut of all time. Quick thoughts.